Hello and welcome back to another episode of our Ride 5 career mode, and today we're here for the next championship on our list, and that is the Naked 700 International Championship. So for this one, it looks like we've got to go to Blue Wave, Snetterton and Kyalami. So it will be interesting to see how we get on. Of course, we'll be on the Aprilia Tuono like we were in the previous episode. This one is 490 to 670 in terms of the performance points. What was this one? You see, this one was only 489, so potentially then we can actually upgrade the Tuono to finally have some slick tyres on it, although we might still be at a disadvantage if you're allowed all the way up to 670. In fact, we actually have to upgrade it to put slick tyres on, otherwise it won't be eligible. So put some slick tyres on, that puts it up to 526 performance points. So it should now be eligible for this championship. And you can see the first race that we've got is Blue Wave, but it's actually the main course, which is not one that we've done previously. So another new track. We'll have to see how we get on with the AI. We've put them up to 120%, and we also might have a bit of a slower bike than some of the other guys around us. So potentially we may have to swap bikes if we do start to struggle. So unfortunately, part of the recording for lap 1 is missing. Had the same issue that I had back in MotoGP 23 career mode with the Austin race, where basically just one frame was recorded over the whole video. However, fortunately there was a screen freeze midway through lap 1, so I had to restart the recording because of that. So we have actually got most of the race, so it'll just cut to midway through lap 1. Apologies guys, but nothing I can really do. Once the race is done, the race is done. Can't really redo it. Had a massive screen freeze there, sorry. I had to restart the recording. I do apologise for all these performance issues that we are having, but like I said, hopefully I will get a better computer as soon as possible. And we've got a run here on Alfred Backstorm, and we're going to go on the inside of him into turn 8. There's a bit of contact there. Again, the hitbox is just so off. He was nowhere near actually hitting me there. And it just puts you on edge so much when you think you're going to lose the front. But we're doing pretty well there, up to P3. Onto this new section of the track. Well, I mean, the whole track is basically new, but you know what I mean. This is the section that we saw in the trailer. And we've just been mugged off around the outside, to be fair, by Alfred Backstrom. Actually, no, it wasn't Alfred Backstrom, even though we'd overtaken him previously. It was actually Alexis Geiger, or Alexi Geiger, probably. I'm not 100% sure, obviously it does depend on whether they're a male or a female. I believe it is a male rider model, so I think it must be a male. But either way then, we're just getting swapped on the straight here. That was a pretty rough section. We dropped back down into P5, and again, probably in the wrong gear there, probably should have been the second. But it's alright, we've still got 2 more laps. We had a very strong first lap, especially that first sector, so hopefully if we could try and get back past this rider here. This is Alfred, so we're still battling with Alfred even now, and get up into P5 again. Maybe we can start trying to hunt down that podium spot. So we are closing up now quite a bit to Alexi Geiger once again, but you can see the leaders seem to be pulling away from him a little bit, so we need to try and pass him as soon as we can. And we go under the tunnel. He pulls away a little bit on the exit. It seems like maybe they've got a bit more power on that low end. I mean, perhaps they are just on better bikes than me at the moment. Of course, the AI are now on a higher setting as well, so I'm not going to attack them in the same way I could previously. Just trying to keep on the circuit through this section. Yeah, they definitely seem to pull away on the more flat-out section, so I think, to be honest, they have got a bit more top end than me. And look who's behind us now, Charles Nolan. So I was saying that he's kind of irrelevant, but he's only a second behind us, so we need to pull his finger out and have a good last lap here. When we close back up to them, to be fair, this lap has been a lot better. We actually gained on them in the section where we were losing before, but unfortunately, it wasn't enough. It's going to be P5 in the first race in this championship. And you can see here, look, it's 4 Honda CB600s in front of us, so I guess that is the better bike to be on. You can see they actually do have quite a lot more performance points than we do, so I think maybe we are on the wrong bike. And I feel like with it being a championship, we can't actually change, because otherwise I'd probably actually go buy one of those Hondas, but unfortunately, I think we're going to be a bit of a disadvantage on our Aprilia. So of course, with that being the first round of the championship, that does leave us in 5th position, with quite a bit of a gap there to make up to the leader, Felix Bishop. So next up then, we've got Snetterton 100, a very, very short circuit, so the race will be over very quickly, and probably one that won't harm us by having a lack of straight line speed as much. It'll actually be the slick tyres that will help us out more, so potentially we might actually be able to get a slightly better result here than we did in the previous one. So once again, it is showing us Charles Nolan. I'm just going to skip that cutscene. I've had enough of looking at it. And to be honest, he really did underperform in that last race because he was on one of those Hondas. So he really did let the slide down there. He really isn't a rival anymore. But lights out and away we go. Not the best start. I mean, of course, basically all I've done is accelerate off the line, so it's not my fault. But the other bikes did draft past us a bit as we go into turn 1. We've found a bit of a space for ourselves. We've been punted up the back, which is a dangerous game there. But we're up to P8, so it's not too bad there. And try to go around the outside of a few riders there. We are out of grip on the outside. And we have lost a couple of places from that, actually, so that wasn't ideal. But can we get the inside into here? It's going to be difficult to make passes again. We're being hit out of the way by another Aprilia on the inside, actually, that was. And into the left here then, so then we sort of take turn 1 of the real course backwards. Oh, there we go. A bit of a high side there. And there we go. Through this turn. Onto the straight. Can we get a bit of a slipstream? No, we can't, unfortunately. And into the turn 1 of this layout of the course. Now, actually wasn't turn 1 that we did backwards before either. I was wrong. I thought we were going to go all the way up to turn 1, but actually we didn't. It was a bit of a turn off before. And there we go, up into P6. Alexis Geiger just in front of us, or Alexi Geiger, however it is pronounced. We're looking for a move on the inside of Alexi Geiger now. Oh, that was a bit of contact. That was a bit over the line, but to be fair, I'm on a lesser bike now, so I've kind of got to try and make the most of the bike I do have. And you can see the guy in the lead there pulling away massively. I'm just being passed on the straight once again, even before we got to the line there by Alexi Geiger. But back at the inside of turn 1, we've got that superior braking ability, and we move back up into the top 5. Although, once again, he's looking for a pass, and we're going onto the green on the outside. It's surely going to be a penalty. Actually, he wasn't, but to be fair, we did lose time, so fair enough. We're not really in a position to pull it off here, are we? Or maybe we are at the inside. Oh, I was skating all over the place, almost going down there, trying to pick up the power as early as we can to get onto the grass. It's just so difficult to get the power down on this bike. I'm trying to make the absolute most out of it, like I said before. And up towards the line, unfortunately, again, it's going to be another P5. We just don't really have the bike here. And to be fair, this is one of those circuits where it's difficult to win, because unless you get out the front early, it's quite hard, because you can see there actually was a Tuono in front of us. It's just, you start so far down on the grid, it's very difficult to actually fight your way through. It's also because it's just a ridiculously short and tight circuit. I don't know why they only give you 3 laps at these tracks. But there you go then. Another 5th place. That's 2 5th places in a row in the championship. And that keeps us in 5th place. And actually, Alexi Geiger was the guy... Actually, no, he wasn't the guy that was leading the championship, was he? But he's on 25 points, 3 points ahead of us. So potentially, we could actually overcome him. And maybe Felix Bishop, who was the guy that actually was leading the championship, he had a bit of a poor round. So maybe if we have a good last race, although it is Kyle Army, so there's a lot of straights, so probably isn't going to work in our favour. But if we do have a good last round, maybe we can still get into the top 3 of this championship. So then here we are for the final round of this championship at Kyle Army. It is going to be a tough one because it is the full layout, so there's plenty of straights, plenty of time for us to drop back, but also it means there is enough time for us to make passes if necessary, so potentially we could do a little bit better. So I've actually gone for a bit of a gamble this time. I've gone for soft tyres. I don't know how they'll work out. Hopefully they're a bit better and they do help us out once again, showing us Charles Nolan. But we need to try and get a good result here for this final race of the championship, just to try and get in that top 3 so that we can try and sort of complete the championship, have it on our bucket list. But lights out and away we go. A pretty decent start. There was a bit of a collision there with a couple of riders. We were getting passed by a couple of them. There's a Aprilia now seems to be moving over on us a little bit, which isn't great. So we go down towards turn 1. Now we're being swamped by a load of riders. Where do they all come from? We're on the brakes into turn 1. I'm going to have to try and risk it. I'm having a bit of a head shake, so maybe the soft tyres a little bit strange down to turn 1. So we haven't had any head shakes on this bike on the brakes up until this point. So maybe the softs aren't the tyres to be on. The AI was literally on the grass on the inside there, so I don't know how he stayed on. And we're now being bullied to the outside of the track again by another one, and we're trying to carry the speed through on the power. We're up to 7th place. It's Alexi Geiger in front of us, the same guy that's been here the entire championship. We just can't get away from the guy, and he was the one that sort of went up the inside of us. We're looking for a move around the outside. Can we pull it off? A bit of contact. No, we can't pull it off, unfortunately, and we're sort of in the wrong gear now as well. It looks like the leaders are already starting to stretch away from us. But this is a section where we have to try to take advantage. It's all about quarter speed and getting the flow right. And, well, to be fair, we've not really been doing that. But this is where we're going to suffer up this hill. And then probably all the way down the next one. You can see, who is that flying past us? I think that was a Triumph, was it? Isabel Metalbula? Well, I don't know, but we've got back up the inside of her now anyway. Next up, we've got Brianna Timberley on... I don't know what bike she's on, actually. Oh, we had contact. There's no way she should have stayed on for that one. And she's cut the corner as well. But to be fair, that was kind of turned in. I didn't expect it to be up the inside, to be quite honest with you. I kind of thought I'd have the speed on them through there, I guess, because it's pretty much a flat-out turn. But so we've both come out of it okay, so it's not the end of the world. But I want to make a few more places. Hopefully we can try and make a pass on Brianna into this last corner. The bike is all over the place. You can see I'm really getting the bike sideways. Every bike we've actually done, to be fair, we've been doing that on the brakes, but especially this Tuono. It is interesting riding one of these kind of bikes because you don't typically ride them. Obviously, we ride sports bikes most of the time, in real super bikes or, you know, proper prototype machines in the MotoGP games, but you don't really ride these kind of street bikes that you just buy for the road that often. Obviously, I know you can do that with super bikes or sports bikes, but you know what I mean. These aren't designed for tracks, are they? Whereas the sport bikes still are. So inside of Alexi Geiger, up into P5, and can we get... Oh, we just ran him in the back. We just ran in the back of Alfred there. I was just trying to get the run through, and we just ran him up the back. We actually picked up a penalty, so I'm not sure. Again, there must be somewhere on this circuit that I'm considering the track, but the game isn't. On the inside we go. Oh, that was close. On the inside of Alfred. So up into P4 then now. Hopefully, we might be able to get a podium. But I'm still just wondering where that actually is. We're picking up penalties and stuff. We've had contact with that guy because he's made a hash of the corner. We've lost the position once again. Unfortunately, this is the section where we need to be really quick. But I think it might be this brown sort of on the outside running up towards some of the curbs. I've been running on it because I've been treating it as part of the curb because, well, that's basically what it is. And unfortunately, I think maybe that's where we're getting the penalties. And we've got a couple of guys go around the outside. So we're back down to 6th place. We're up to P4 very briefly there. And we're looking for a pass at the inside on the grass, but... yeah, that's kind of what Isabel did to us on the last lap. So can we try and get the run towards the penultimate turn? I don't think we can. Try and flick it through the penultimate turn. That was the last one. We should be able to outbrake them. And the AI is going to try and put us towards the outside. And up the inside we go, all out of shape once again, just like on the previous lap. And there we go, we're up into P4. Alfred Backstrom is just in front of us as we're about to start this final lap of the race. So a podium is genuinely possible here. We could pick up a podium, 1 minute 50.6. So we're actually lapping very similarly to the stock tyres. Because that's the kind of lap times we did previously, although we did have a lot of contact on this lap, so potentially that could hold us back a bit. We're trying to go around the outside through turn 1. We've actually pulled it down, so I don't know how we've done that one. So maybe we could try and get Gail DuPont in front of us, but to be fair, I'll just take any podium in this championship, because clearly we're not on the good machine. We're closing up a lot to Gail DuPont here. Maybe we could try to go around the outside of him through this turn, or through the crocodiles. I don't think we're going to be able to do it. Try and pick up the power around the outside of him. I think we actually have. Could we actually win this race? Because we're really closing up to the leader here, Adriana. And I think we're just going to run out of time, but we'll gain a lot into this last corner. Can we try and just carry the speed through, pick up the power as early as possible? We're so close. We could have won this race. We genuinely could have won this race if we hadn't been held up a little bit there. But tell you what, that was some last lap from me. And we actually got the fastest lap of the race, even with that. A 47.2 as well. So actually, once we weren't being held up by the AI, we were a lot quicker on those slick tyres, although in fairness there probably was more time on the table of the stock tyres as well. It probably wasn't the best lap, but finally getting the podium, and that should be plenty to get us into the top of the championship. And I must say the soft tyres definitely were the right choice. They seem to work like an absolute treat. I mean, if you look at the time we put into Alfred, we passed him literally into turn 1 the last lap, and we finished like 2.5 seconds in front of him. So it was pretty ridiculous there that we were able to pull that much time out. And we did manage to get up into 3rd in the championship. And actually, that did change the championship as well. At the top there, Adriana ended up taking the lead from Gail DuPont. And to be fair, maybe if I didn't beat him, he would have had 4 more points. So no, actually, he wouldn't have still won it. We didn't cost him that. But even still, it was a very close championship. And if we'd won the race, I think that actually probably would have made a difference. She'd have had 5 less, and potentially that could have changed things a little bit. But there we go. Then we got 96 leaderboard points, another 12,000 credits. So we're really racking up the numbers now. The level's going up as well. I'm sure the affinity for Aprilia will be going up with that as well, as we've done 2 whole championships now on this Aprilia 2.0, sorry. And we've unlocked there the CBR 1000 RR Fireblade from 2005, a classic bike. And I wonder if we'll have to use that in the next championship. I'm not too sure. But there you go then, that was the 700 International Naked Championship. It was pretty tough, to be honest. It was very tough. I think if we were on the Honda, it would have been a lot easier, but we still ended up doing pretty well. We got to a track where, actually, there were a lot of straights, but there was plenty of twisty bits for us to make up the time. The British tracks seemed to kind of work for us to an extent, but also not. When you get something like Stepson 100, doesn't matter what bike you're on, it's difficult to make 9 passes at a track so short and so tight. So, to be fair, we're kind of at a disadvantage there. I think it'll probably be better to go to those kind of tracks when we actually have qualifying, which I do believe comes in later on in the career mode, but I could be wrong. Obviously, this is only the first sort of section of it, the first quarter of the career mode, so it is a bit easier. This is the amateur level, so obviously things are going to be a little bit more simple. It looks like we're up for 750s next. Actually, we probably can't use that Honda. We'll actually have to buy something new, but that is for next episode. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed this one. If you're on this channel, please do like the video and subscribe. It really helps me out. And of course, you'll get more Ride 5, MotoGP 23 and GP Bullets content in your subscription feed. So it is a win-win for both of us. But like I said, I hope you did enjoy that one. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Hope you all stay safe, and I shall see you in the next one.